everything will work out. Like, I think we worry so much, and in hindsight, if we just look back at everything has worked out, and also everything can be a blessing if you look at it that way. Rejection can be the redirection. It's really how you shape your perception and your reality.
You're listening to Power Femme Radio. This is a podcast where ladies come together and try to share their opinions and empower each other to be better women in society.
Did he just say try? You're listening to Power Femme, where women don't try, we do. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Power Femme. I am so excited to have you guys here today. I have an amazing guest. Today's review is from @mayor.claire. She says, listen to Power Femme over and over. This is the perfect pick-me-up and mindset refresh when I'm ready to supercharge and step into my power. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Meredith. I love you. That is so, so sweet. And honestly, that's exactly what I want. I want these episodes to be like that shot of espresso that leave you feeling so freaking inspired and so in your power. That is what Power Femme is all about. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. I have the lovely, the one and only Hae Lee.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hello.
Hello,
Is this
hello.
thing on?
Yeah, it's on. It's on. She's like been sitting here for 10 minutes and she's like, am I even like, what's going on here? Okay, let me do a little intro for you, Hae, for those who don't know you. So Hae is one of LA's most sought after Reiki healers and teachers whose regular clients include Hollywood producers, celebrities, business executives, and more. She is the founder of a wellness brand called Stay and Vibe, a company driven to help people heal their mind, body, and spirit. Over the years, Hae has spread her knowledge of Reiki by working with clients both hands-on and even teaching hundreds of individuals across the span of 20 countries around the globe. On top of all of this, Hae is obtaining a master's degree in clinical psychology so that she can fulfill her mission of cultivating a practice that creates deep and accessible healing through a mind, body, and spirit approach. Hae is also the author of Reiki Illustrated, the visual reference guide of hand positions, symbols, and treatment sequences for common conditions. This can be ordered on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Apple Books today.
Thank you.
Wow, you are just so amazing.
You really did your research.
It's like I know you from like a past life or something, huh? How do you even find Reiki? Like how did Reiki find you?
Right, so that's a good question. I don't even know where to start, but I guess I'll start from my childhood. So since I was young, I've always been very, very sensitive to energy and been intuitive. And, my middle school friends used to joke around and say that I was psychic because I would say certain things and it would come true or that thing would actually happen in real life. Wow. And this is kind of spooky, but I had a total of 7 strangers come up to me in public to tell me that I had to go see them or that they saw something like unique with me. And
at one point, like 7 people walked up to you?
It was in middle school and high school. And 2 people came up to me in the same aisle at Ralph's on Pico in Beverly Hills.
Whoa. What aisle was it?
It was like the pasta aisle. I don't know.
I wonder if it was like 2 or like 222, 33. You know what I mean?
I see. No, I don't really remember, but I didn't really think too much of it. But I think in hindsight, I think that's how the universe was planting the seeds and trying to get me to discover this path of my connection with the metaphysical world.
Were you scared as a child when these people came up to you? Like, did you think?
Yes.
So what were you like?
I wasn't scared, but I thought there was something wrong with me as opposed to like that it was something good,
Yeah.
And
what did they say to you?
Something about like me having to go see them, and they gave me like a business card, or they're like, "Can I read you?" And I'd be like, "Okay, sure." And I would go home with this business card, but they like charged like maybe like $150, and I was in middle school and I didn't have that much money. And I honestly kind of got annoyed because I'm like, why are you stopping me?
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
No, it's so annoying. I've been stopped.
Yeah. The thing is, I grew up religious, but my dad worked for one company all his life, climbed up the corporate ladder until he was 45. So that's kind of all I knew. So after college, I went to work at a tech company as an account executive. And while I was at that job, I felt like I had this life purpose that I wasn't fulfilling. And that feeling made me feel really guilty and empty and honestly really depressed.
Wow.
And I think I found this prayer online, and it says something like, use me as you will, like show me my life purpose in a way that I will understand. So I think I said that about for 2 weeks before I went to bed.
Wow.
And weird synchronicities and signs all led me to this healing modality of Reiki that I barely knew anything about. And I started getting invited to these wellness retreats by friends and their bosses. And these retreats were like $3,000 for the whole weekend. And I didn't have that kind of money as like a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
So during those wellness events, one of the instructors came up to me and she was like, I think you have something, like, I think it's worth you like exploring Reiki. And that planted like another seed in my head. And honestly, I was so unhappy at my job that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna see like what this is about, because first, like, one, I am really, really sensitive to energy, and I have this like strong connection to the metaphysical world. So I'm like, there's nothing to lose. So I got certified. And then after the certification, so it's not like a magic pill where you just get the certification and you just wake up differently, right? It's all about the time and effort that you put into the practice. So, you know, I was still working at my corporate job, like I didn't quit yet. And I started doing Reiki on my friends and family and my coworkers, and they started crying in these sessions, and that gave me the encouragement to go a little deeper. And then I don't know what came first, honestly, but I created this Instagram handle, Stay in Vibe, which is my practice now. And I think I started posting videos and friends and photos of my friends receiving Reiki from me. And then strangers, like people that I didn't know, reached out to me asking me for a session.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, like maybe I can do this part-time. That kind of saw like a little like, you know, a path in front of me that I was like, I can kind of go this route and see what happens. And I was doing that for a little bit. And then what really helped me grow my practice in a really short amount of time was when Calamigos, which is like this resort in Malibu, this 200 like property acre resort, reached out to me and asked me to be their Reiki healer. And
wow,
that opportunity was really good, or it just was really great for my practice because I was able to do Reiki on influencers and celebrities. Wow. And the power of, you know, social media marketing, you know, helped me grow my business. And then the pandemic hit.
You mentioned being really sensitive to energy and being connected to the metaphysical world. Mm-hmm. Can you explain, like, how do you know if you are sensitive to energy? I think maybe there are some people out there who just are completely unconscious of like how energy affects them.
Totally.
So how did you know that was, like, what did that look like, being sensitive to energy, and how did you know that it was energy that you were sensitive to?
Right. I mean, when I was young, you know, I didn't really know, but in hindsight, so like, you know, if I hang out with you and you're having a really bad day and you're not telling me about what kind of day you're having, like I will soak that up. I'm an empath, and then I will start feeling bad, you know, and just like absorbing, like when I travel, like when I enter certain rooms, like I feel like the energy of the room is off. You know, I get pretty anxious in like these like crowded big settings and social settings. So just like being maybe sensitive to people, but people are energy. So
okay.
Yeah.
And then growing up religious, what was your religion?
I was Christian.
So what was it like for you to find this like metaphysical world?
I mean, I grew up going to church every Sunday, but it was more to like be with my family. Like my parents are not that religious. That wasn't that religious back then. And it was just like a thing that we did on Sunday morning. And they always gave me the freedom to believe in anything, you know, that I wanted to believe in. So they just like wanted to, you know, have this like family tradition every Sunday, but I wasn't forced into any religion by any means. So my mom's side is actually Christian, and then my dad's side, my grandma, my dad's side is Buddhist. So I got like kind of like a glimpse of both religions growing up. Like I went to like temples and I went to churches, and so I think I had that freedom to just kind of explore what is out there.
Well, I too kind of had that ability to sort of, choose, like, I was introduced to the spiritual world, and like, because the things that I was saying and praying and meditating on, that was my introduction to it, and that was coming true, and it was the closest I'd felt to God ever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I wouldn't say I believe in all religions because I don't know every single religion out there, but I think all religions are trying to prove the same thing. Like there's something greater than us, guiding us, loving us, and protecting us at all times. So like whatever religion that you were born with, whatever resonates with you, like that can be a religion. And you can believe in all religions. You can not believe in anything and just believe in the universe, the stars, the planets, whatever it is. Like God can be anything that you want it to be. It doesn't have to be like this one, God that we like think about when we think about religion.
Right.
It can be like the trees, it can be the plants, flowers, the ocean, anything. Like there's universal intelligence in every single thing on this earth.
What is Reiki?
So Reiki is an energy healing modality, and Reiki actually translates to universal life force energy. Rei means universal or spiritual, and Ki translates to life force energy. So this Ki is the same thing as Qi in Chinese medicine, prana, light mentioned in the Bible. And this is a vital force that is within each and every one of us. And without it, we would just not be alive. And I know the word Reiki can sound esoteric to some people. But if you think about it, we've been healing with our hands since the beginning of times, even before Reiki was a thing. Like, for example, like let's say your kid falls on the floor. Like, what is the first thing you do? Like, you place your hands on the wounded area, right, to heal. And when you have a headache, what do? You place your hands on your head to put pressure on it. It's like our hands are one of the most intentional parts of our bodies. Wow. And in yoga, it is said that our hands are extensions of our heart chakras. So it's like we can't like physically place our hearts on people, different parts of the bodies, but we can, use our hands to promote healing. And I just thought that was really beautiful. It's like we're healing with our hearts,
Can you imagine if you just like went and put your heart on people to try to heal them? I'm sorry.
People would end up suing me, I think.
Yes. No, actually, so I recently just, my friend brought this up to me. When I hug people, I usually hug to the, like I
left.
usually go to the left. Like I don't know why, but
no,
he was like,
why.
no, you need to back up and you need to put your head to the right because then your heart touches, then your heart touches their heart.
Right, that's what I meant. You go to the right, so your left part is touching
your
heart.
That's what you do to connect with somebody. But me naturally, I'm always like, oh, hey, and I go to the right. But if you hug somebody from the left, the energy is palpable.
Right. Your hearts are touching.
Should we do it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Maybe after.
Yeah, maybe after. That is so beautiful and so fascinating. When Josh and I first started dating, like we would cuddle and he would like, there was something very magnetic about the two of us, like our energy together. And we would just hold each other. And I never knew this until you just told me that energy is transferred from your hands. Yeah. But I remember I would hold him and I would just imagine energy going from my heart and like into his body. Yeah. And he would do it back to me. Totally. And we would do it without even saying we were doing it to each other. Yeah. And then after, I would be like, I was sending you love. And he's like, I felt it. And I was sending you love. Aww. Like it's
cute.
I know. Sometimes we're cute.
No, like this is like a human shell. Like we are energetic beings and this is just a shell that we were given. So like even if we're not touching, like that's how distant Reiki works too. Like you don't have to be physically touching to transfer energy. Like you can think about the person and kind of like send them good vibes or thoughts and they'll think about you. It's like I always in romantic relationships, like I know when the other person is thinking about me or like let's say you like have a dream about someone and then you run into them in real life the next day, or you think about someone and they call you. I think that always happens. Like I call you and you're like, I was just thinking about you.
Yes, that always happens.
Yeah.
We are connected, and like I think I might be a psychic too on a level, but
everyone is.
Yeah.
It's a muscle that we can develop over time.
Yes. And so are empaths more prone to ESP?
I think those are kind of a little bit different, but ESP stands for extrasensory perception. So that's like precognition, when there's an energy transference, when you can like kind of read people's minds a little bit and like just know what they're feeling or what they're thinking. And my teacher says something really interesting. One of my teachers told me that, you know, kids with trauma growing up are a little bit more intuitive. Like it's like that part of your brain is more developed because you had to predict the future. So like I grew up, you know, my parents are great people, but they didn't have like the best relationship, and they fought a lot and we moved a lot. So there was just a lot of uncertainty in my life. So I think that part of my brain where I had to predict the future just became stronger. And I say trauma with this like a small, like, you know, lowercase t. Yeah, little t, because like nothing like crazy happened. And it just, my life was just always unknown. Like it was never, I felt like it was never stable. So I had to predict the future to give myself the comfort that I wanted as a kid.
What is a sign? What was your first sign? What's a significant sign for you? And how did you know like this is a sign?
Right. So signs can mean several things, I think. So it can be like a hello from the other side, like your loved ones who have passed over saying like, hey, I'm with you. Like, you're not alone. I love you. I'm here. Or it can be like, you know, a signal from the non-physical world saying, yes, you're on the right path. Keep going. Or like, no, this is not for you. There's something better. Or this is not for you. So you're just going to feel like, you know, not aligned with that decision that you've made. When something is for you, it will feel like you're swimming with the current as opposed to swimming against the current, right? So it's maybe it's a gut feeling, maybe it's a sign from numbers, billboards, something that a stranger says passing by, you know, through songs, really anything, you know, and you have to be open to it. And I don't remember like the first sign I received, to be honest, but I will say I lost my grandma a year ago, and I wanted to test it out with her. So I told her, I didn't tell her like in person, but I told like the universe, her in spirit. And I told her, you know, if you're with me, send me a sign by sending me an elephant, but not just one elephant. The elephants have to be on top of each other, like stacked up vertically. Because I wanted to be
so specific.
I wanted to be specific. Not to like give her a hard time or anything, but because I didn't want to second guess, like, was that a sign? Like, I just wanted to know, you know what I mean? And like a lot of people say, like, I get signs from coins, rainbows, birds, but I was like, no, I want something more specific than that. And I remember it was like a few months after my grandma passed away, and I'm scrolling through Instagram and I come across this video of an elephant giving birth. And for a few seconds in that video, while the elephant is giving birth, the elephants are on top of each other, right? And I was like, am I stretching the truth? Like, I was like, that could be a sign, but like, I don't know. And then I look at the Instagram handle, and the Instagram handle was Amma Mother, which means Amma means mom in Korean. So like, it was like mother. And it was my grandma, my mom's side, so my mom's mom, which was my grandma. So I was like, okay, like that's clearly a sign. Like that's like 2 signs in a row. And I was like, okay, then like I will kind of like not believe you. Like I think I believe that, but I just wanted something more concrete, more tangible to prove.
Yeah.
And so like, I always, when people ask me like, how do I open myself to signs? I said, get specific. You can, you know, say like, a plastic dragonfly on the floor, and then the background has to be green. Like, you can get that specific and you'll receive it, you know?
Can. No, totally.
You should tell them about your dad. And I mean, I don't know
how
long this Coachella.
Okay,
wait, let's go to the Jack Johnson maybe. I don't know.
Wait, no, this is so good, you guys. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna pause the episode now and I'm going to insert, because I recorded an audio on this somewhere already. I've got to find it, where I explain the whole story about the sign from my dad and how my dad channeled Big Sean. It's crazy. I want to touch on the idea of seasons of healing, because this has been a big one for me. I'm going to get emotional, but if you guys have listened to the show for a while, you know that my dad has been battling with brain cancer. And he actually passed away about a month ago. Amidst all of the chaos, I've received so much confirmation from my dad, and I know that he's with me, and my faith has only grown so much deeper. And the message that keeps coming through is that it's okay. It's okay to rest. It's okay to let yourself have a moment. It's okay to heal. And it's also okay to show up when you're vulnerable and messy and you haven't figured it out. Because I really feel like it paves the way for other people who are also struggling. Another thing is that it's totally okay to not be strong, you know. I know I'm a strong ass bitch, but it's okay to not be strong. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel weak and not know, you know, how you're going to get up that day. I mean, the depression has been very, very real, but it's taught me so much. And that's the other thing, is just like, I didn't come this far to come this far. So if you're someone who's going through a crazy life experience, crazy changes, major doubt, just feels like things are not going your way, the world's against you, you've got the weight on your shoulders of the world, it is teaching you something. Here's the crazy story. You ready? Okay, so after my dad passed, which was very, very traumatic, I decided I needed to have some fun. I was like, you know what? I'm only going to focus on happiness and fun because I've been in this very dark place. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to Coachella. So I went to Coachella weekend 1. I wasn't really sure. Like, I wanted to go weekend 1, weekend 2. And I just told the universe, I've been very open with the universe. I'm like, listen, guys, hey, angels, God, dad, whatever, all of you guys up there, I love you all. I see you all. If I'm meant to like move forward and go to Coachella, I'm going to go to Coachella. That was what I said. And so I bought a ticket to Coachella. And the damn ticket got shipped to Atlanta the day before I'm supposed to be in Indio, California. And that didn't even deter me or upset me. I still haven't gotten my $450 back from Ticketmaster, but I don't even care because, again, it was just like, oh, well, we don't have brain cancer, so let's not be upset. Who cares? It's just money. And if I'm meant to go to Coachella, I'll go to Coachella. Well, yeah, I manifested a VIP ticket again for free. I went and stayed in the desert with my friends. And I mean, on my way up to the desert this time, and I had let go of all the stress and the heat and the sadness. And I just felt like I really was opening myself up to the universe and talking to my dad. And I felt like I was really ready for him to come through. And on my way up to the desert this time, I mean, I just felt so divinely guided. Like it didn't matter. Like I just trusted and knew that I was in the right place at the right time. I kept getting confirmation. I'd look at the clock at exactly 11:11 or 5:55 or 3:33 or 4:44. And like I would pass signs and billboards that literally say like Jesus loves you, or like just like crazy undeniable signs that was just like, it was just confirmation for me. Like I didn't even know going to the desert that I had a VIP ticket yet. Like I was just like, I'm just going. But like I had this inner knowing every single time I started to see a sign. I was like, oh my God, God wants me here. This is exactly right. My angels are talking to me. Like I can feel them. And so anyways, I get to the desert. My friend Michael Ramos is like, hey, I have a VIP ticket for you. I left your name at the freaking will call. So just go pick up your VIP ticket. I go back to the house, hang out with all my amazing friends. It was so good for my soul. And I decided, you know what, let's go have a good time. So we go to Coachella. I get separated from my friends and we're in a group text. There's literally like no service. And so I'm trying to find my friends and everyone's texting saying, go meet at the Big Sean stage. And I love Big Sean. So I was like, sure, okay, great. On my way, bump into my two really good friends, Glenda and Blake. And they have not seen me since my dad's passing. And Blake gives me a big hug and he says to me, I'm so sorry about your dad. And so I said to him, I was like, yeah, I know. And he was like, yeah, you know, he's totally still with you. It's an energy thing. Just believe it. Just trust that. And I was like, yeah, thanks. And so then my friend Maria like pulls my hand. She's like, Heidi, we have to go. And so we keep walking and we get to the Big Sean stage and I'm looking for my friends So as we approach the stage, Mike Posner's performing his song, "You got designer shades just to hide your face, and you wear them around like you're cooler than me." Everyone knows this song, okay? And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, Mike Posner's out. That's so cool. But like, I'm also still actively not paying attention and looking for my friends. Big Sean walks out on the stage, and as I'm looking for my friends, half paying attention, half not, I hear Big Sean say, "I was praying before I came out on this stage, and all I could think about was your dad who had brain cancer." And I can really feel his energy. And I literally, I stopped in my tracks. I started to cry on the spot. I was like, oh my God, me too. Like, what, is he talking to me? And I said to my friend Maria, I'm like, did you hear that? And she's like, yeah, I totally just heard that, and that is insane. And I just started to cry because all of a sudden I felt my dad literally over me like a warm blanket. And it's an indescribable thing that only I know. Like 100% was my dad talking to me, literally communicating with me through a microphone in front of hundreds of thousands of people, just to tell me that he was with me and he can talk to me. And I think this is happening because I'm literally so open to the experiences, right? The next day, Maria told me, "Hey, Heidi, I was accidentally recording a video during all of that in my pocket, and I actually caught it on tape."
Y'all, a lot of y'all don't know Mike Posner used to be a rapper. We used to be rapping together and shit. Life has been great to us. When we were backstage, seeing the career before we came out, all I could think about was your dad. I know you lost your dad, brain cancer.
Wait, what?
I just want to say,
Me too.
he's definitely watching over us right now. He definitely feels his energy.
What? So I have the audio. It's proof. I wasn't crazy. It was 100% a real thing that happened. And I went on Instagram the next day. I shared about this on my Instagram story. A friend heard my story, and he follows Mike Posner. I don't even follow Mike Posner. He follows Mike Posner, and he sends me a video that Mike Posner posted of that moment about how, and I didn't know any of these things about Mike Posner, but Mike Posner was like, "I'm from Detroit. Big Sean's from Detroit. My dad is from Detroit." And he's in this video, he's just talking about how Big Sean was like family to him, and that he used to call his dad Daddy Pose, and that he died of brain cancer. Literally, same as me. Literally same as me. My dad is from Detroit. His dad's from Detroit. I had to be in the perfect place at the right time to even hear that experience. So, you know, you could be someone who chalks things up to coincidence, but I am someone who I just can't deny God's goodness and God's love and the signs and the power and the intelligence.
Guys, who remembers my Instagram story from a couple days ago? You probably don't remember, but I posted something about how my dad was communicating with me through Big Sean at Coachella. It's been a wild just like experience digesting that whole thing. And I decided, like I said to my friend, I was like, someone needs to introduce me to Big Sean, or someone needs to introduce me to Mike Posner so that I can tell them about what happened. And I'm not even kidding you, an hour or two later, I got a video from my friend, and he says, "Look who I just ran into. Look at this."
Hey Heidi, heard you had I hope all is well. I know you're going through a tough time, and a lot of us are, but you know, that doesn't take away how dramatically heavy that your situation is. I heard your dad, right? Yeah. Passed away from brain cancer. And one thing that I want you to remember is that you were lucky enough to have a dad that you had memories with, and that no matter what goes on, whether it's good times or bad times, that it's all temporary, and life is full of these experiences, and it's carving you out to be the best version of yourself. So I hope you find comfort. You're always gonna miss him, you're always gonna love him, but you know, things will get better, and just know that. and it's making you into even a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. And you also gain a guardian angel as well, so that's beautiful. All right, peace.
Okay, guys. So for those of you who don't recognize his voice, that was Big Sean, literally talking directly to me in a video. It's funny because it was actually the friend of mine who got me that VIP ticket. Michael, my friend, who doesn't even live in LA, he lives in Santa Barbara, was in LA because his girlfriend was flying into town, and so he went to pick her up, and they decided to stop at a Shake Shack, and while they were together, he turns around and Big Sean walks in. And so thank you, Michael. I hope that was inspiring. I'm going to get back to the episode now. Love you. I'm in shock. So welcome back. Like, wow, just a wow sign.
Yep. I remember you telling me that, and I was like, that's triple signs right there.
Yeah.
Right? Like you
so
had
many.
you had to first somehow record that portion of him talking on stage, and you didn't even know you were recording.
No, my friend was accidentally recording a 13-minute video in her
Yeah,
pocket.
and it was like all black, but you could hear.
You could hear it, yeah.
And then you told me about it, and then Big Sean also lost his dad.
No, Mike
right?
Posner lost his dad to brain cancer, and he just so happened to be at Coachella. Big Sean is the one who came out, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm walking to Big Sean. Why is Mike Posner like on the stage? That's weird. And Big Sean came out and then said, hey, like, all I could think about was your dad backstage. You could really feel his energy. He's definitely here right now.
Wow.
And like that was my dad.
Yeah.
That was my dad.
Were you crying?
I was sobbing. And then the next day I did some research and I found out Big Sean is from Detroit. Mike Posner is from Detroit. My dad is from Detroit.
Oh, wow. I just got chills. And he's with you all the time. Like you feel it.
He's with me all the time. And so Hey, you guys. Okay, so here's how Hae and I are connected. Hae and I met in high school. Hae's name is Hae Lee. And I remember when I met Hae Lee at school, we were in a staircase. I was going up, she was going down, and our friend Sam Kolko introduced us in the stairwell. Sam Kolko has since passed away. He's one of our really good friends. I remember in that moment thinking to myself, prior to any of my spiritual involvement, consciousness, anything, interesting, my sister's name is Hae Lee. Like, my real blood sister's name is Hae Lee.
Right.
And it wasn't until my dad passed away that I finally obtained some pictures of my biggest sister. I'm actually the youngest of 3 sisters. I'm the youngest girl. And my oldest sister's name was Danielle. And she died as a baby. And my dad never told me about her.
Wow.
But when my dad passed away, I obtained, like, when your parents pass away, or like a family member, really close family member passes away, like the saddest thing ever is like you go through all their stuff. And I found Danny's footprints and baby pictures and little wrist tags, and it had her birthday on it. And did I send it to you?
Okay, this is what happened. So we were on your couch like a few months ago, and you were talking about I was like, there's like that picture of your mom and your dad, and I was like asking questions about them.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember you told me about how you're like, yeah, my dad had someone before me. Like, I have a half sister, but she passed away. She's an angel. And like, you've always told me like you feel like my sister, like from a past life.
Yeah.
And I think you're telling me about Danielle, and you're showing me a picture.
Yeah.
And I like zoom in, and it has the same birthday as like there's like 4/19, April 19, and I'm like, wait, that's my birthday. And that was exactly after the conversation that we had. You were like, I feel like you're my sister from a past life.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, that's kind of weird. And then you were like, also like my full sister's name is Hae Lee, and my first name is Hae, last name's Lee. So I don't know. It's just like people can think like, oh, like that's, a stretch or whatever, but like we kind of just feel it.
We are so connected and so open. And people ask me all the time, like, they're like, gosh, wow, Heidi, like it's so crazy how your dad is like so loud and like he's like so obviously with you. Like how can I start to receive signs and stuff? And so I want to talk on like how people can start to receive signs and open themselves up, but let's tell them about Jack Johnson.
Oh yeah. That's also even crazy. Okay, so I love Jack Johnson, and I bought.
Why do you love Jack Johnson? Yeah.
So he went to UCSB, and that's where I went to college. And my guy friend, sophomore year, used to live in his house, like, you know, after he like left. And my ex-boyfriend at the time like lived in his room that he lived in, like, what, I don't know how old he is, but he lived in the same room. And the first time I did acid, I listened to the whole album in his room, and just like
Fell
had a
in
really
love.
good time.
Yeah, had a great time. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you had tickets to a Jack Johnson concert.
Yes. So I bought these tickets like months in advance, right? And I just bought 2. I was like, someone will come with me, whatever. And it was like, you know, quickly approaching. And I was flying to Mexico City the next day, and I had some work to do. So I was like, I don't think I should go. Like, my flight's at like 5 a.m. Maybe I shouldn't go and sell those tickets. And then I put them out there, but no one bought them. So I was like, honestly, I should just go. Like, I bought them for a reason, you know? And I honestly, like, none of my like close friends except you like listen to that kind of music. Like, maybe call it my college friends, but not my like friends here. And the first person that I thought of was you.
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like, maybe I should take Heidi. But then you told me that week that Friday was your dad's birthday.
My dad's birthday.
I remember sending you a voice note, and I was like, hey, I know, like, it's your dad's birthday this Friday, so I don't know if you would want to come to this, but I have an extra ticket to Jack Johnson. Like, would you want to come? And you were like, 100%.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah.
So, okay, so I took you.
Yeah, you took me, and we had the best time. It was a super emotional day for me, like, and I just remember I was like, hey, I'm gonna cry at this concert. I just know
I
it.
knew. Exactly.
I just know it.
Yeah.
And so we took a little bit of mushrooms.
We would have cried without it, though.
We would have cried without it.
But we were sobbing. Like, the sleeves of my sweater was wet.
Well, we were having a great time. We literally sat, like, in somebody else's seats. I don't even know. We didn't even sit in our seats.
Because we were too,
We wanted to get close.
Yes, and also it was kind of empty in the beginning.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I couldn't find my seats.
Okay, and so it's a great freaking concert. Jack Johnson talks about how this is a really special night for him, probably the most special concert he's ever had, because he had like 40 friends backstage because he's home and he's in LA, and it's the Hollywood Bowl, and everybody came from Santa Barbara, so it's just so special for him. And I just remember thinking, it's so special for me too, because I'm like literally with my spirit sister, and it's my dad's birthday, and I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, like, this is just so amazing. And they're also playing like a lot of throwbacks that were not on his record, that are not by him, that are some of my dad's favorite songs. And the whole time I'm like, hey, this is my dad's favorite song, like literally. And I'm like, you know, and she's just like, yeah, he's here with us. And I thought it was so funny because like he took over Coachella, like a headliner at Coachella, like literally, like it's just so on brand for my dad to like be the loudest person in the room and like just let me know. And so it's like, I was like, how fitting. Like, he does communicate to me through music. Even when I'm driving in my car, like he communicates to me through music. And so I was like really believing, like, while we were there, that like my dad was putting on this concert for me for his birthday. And then,
but didn't you also tell me that he goes by JJ or something?
Yeah,
and
JJ.
Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson.
Yeah, that was another thing.
My dad's nickname is JJ.
Yeah, crazy.
Like literally.
And then tell them.
And then so
the lady.
Okay, yes. And so I went on like a healing sabbatical when my dad died to Hawaii with Josh. Jack Johnson lives in Hawaii. And he brought this Hawaiian woman with him
that he
to
just
the
signed.
concert that he just signed to his record label or whatever you call it. And this was the last song that we'd stayed for. Like, we were literally about to walk out, and we're sitting in our actual seats at this point, I think, because we'd been kicked out. So we're like in the very, very back, and we're just on mushrooms having a good time. And I'm like literally holding Hae's hand. I'm just like, I just felt like something was about to happen. And so this Hawaiian woman comes on stage at his concert, and she starts to talk about, he introduces her, and he's like, guys, like, I'm coming out with a new album, and I'm going to share this song. It's the first time I've ever shared this song, ever played live, ever, ever, ever. I'm sad because it's actually not on my album. It's on this woman's album, but I just signed her, and so we wrote this song together, and we want to play it for you for the first time for anyone ever. And they talk about the song that they wrote together
for their dads.
Yeah. Their dads both died, and they just wrote this song together, and it was for their dads.
And we started
bawling.
Like, it was
Tears
not-
were shooting out
I
of
think
my
people
eyes.
were honestly looking at us like weirdly. We were like not just crying, we were sobbing.
No, sobbing, literally. Like, it was like Jack Johnson was playing a song with this woman from Hawaii about recovering from healing from their dads dying.
Right.
and honoring them.
On your dad's birthday.
On my dad's birthday.
And I just took you because
and
I
my
couldn't sell my
spirit sister
tickets.
took me because she couldn't sell my tickets.
And I wanted to go and I wanted to take you. And I was like, yeah, why not? You know? And we had the best time. But I just remember like the sleeves of my sweaters were like
soaking.
Yeah.
No, literally.
Like it was not okay.
We cried so hard. And you were crying too. Like, you know?
I mean, I cried at everything. But yes, also it was just very emotional. I love Jack Johnson. Like music moves me. And that was a really beautiful experience. Like I also like wanted to hold space for you.
Yeah, I love you.
Love
You're
you
so
too.
good at that.
And yeah, it was an amazing night. And it's actually funny because that night, like, I wouldn't say jealous is like the right word, but I was like, Heidi got so many signs from her dad. Like, I want signs from my grandma.
Oh no! Oh my god!
And then
literally,
literally 2 days after I went to Mexico City, and you text me, you're like you sent me a screenshot of like elephants on top of each other from like Facebook.
Yeah.
And I get this text message, and I'm in an Uber. I'm honestly not making this up. I can like show you guys a screenshot.
Yeah.
I'm in the Uber, and you know how there's like in the back seat there's like TVs for like advertisements and things.
Yes.
And I get that text and I look over and I see elephants on top of each other. They're like showing a video and I'm like, what?
Yeah. No.
And then get this, the Airbnb that we rented out, on my bedside table, there's a lamp and there was an elephant like stuffed animal that was stuck to the lamp as like a, I don't know, decor, I guess. And then I also bought piñatas for my friends as like a pregame thing. And you know those like Kindle eggs? Like those chocolate eggs?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
No, it's not Kindle. What is it called? I don't know.
I actually don't
Those-
know. I was just pretending to know. I don't know.
Those
Are they,
like chocolate eggs.
eggs?
I'm saying it wrong. I think they're German. But that was like one of like the goodies that were in the piñata. And I opened one up and it had like a small elephant toy. And I was like, wait, that's just one elephant. That's not a sign for me.
Oh my God.
And
Hey.
look at this. And then I look at the instruction page, there's like a manual that comes with the toy. And then like there were two elephants on top of each other. And I was like, okay, that's a sign. I don't know. It's just like, I like to get really specific and have fun with it. And I'm like, don't give me one elephant. Give me one elephant on top of each other. And then I'll recognize it as a sign.
It's so nice to get those clear signs from them because our loved ones are still communicating with us. Like there is still a channel of communication.
Yeah.
And you can totally still have a relationship with them. I'm literally looking at my dad's golf balls right now, like just thinking about him. Like I love him so much. And that love will never go away. Yes, the memories will go. Your memory will get less and less over time. But there is something inside of you that will just never ever leave you.
Yeah. No, it's their spirit. So like even if they visit you in dreams, like they still have the same personality, the same laugh, you know?
Yeah.
And I honestly loved your advice when you said you should film your parents as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because I think having recordings and like their voice and their mannerisms is so important to remember.
It's so important.
It's so much more than a picture because it's like moving,
Totally,
you know?
Totally. I sadly don't have that many videos of my dad, but I have a lot of live photos.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. Because you see them moving and you see them just smile and do their thing. And like, it's really important, you guys. Like, even if your parents are healthy right now, just start to record them when they're doing their silly thing or when they're doing that thing that drives you crazy. Just record it because those are the things that you're going to miss. Literally more than anything, like I miss my dad being so freaking loud in the kitchen when I'm trying to sleep at like 6 a.m. Like I miss him coming in and annoyingly opening the door and being like, good morning, are you getting up? And it's like, no, leave me alone, Dad, I'm going to sleep. And then he's like, he doesn't even say anything. He just closed the door and then he comes back 5 minutes later. He's like, get up. And he like closes the door. And I'm just like, it was the most annoying thing in the entire world. But like, I would give anything for him to wake me up. You know what I mean?
You always say like, I'm open. Like I'm open to receiving. I'm open to doing this. And keep saying that. And you do have a really strong connection to your dad on the other side, I think.
I think it's like I've just had so much confirmation, and the confirmation for me has come. I've never known what I wanted the confirmation to look like,
Right.
But I think that my curiosity and desire to know more about life and know more deeply has led me to understand things like for example, like I've subscribed to this verse that's in the Bible, I am that I am. And essentially what Jesus was saying is, I am God. And so I've always believed like the words I am are so powerful and they create our reality. So I am is something I've subscribed to my whole life. And I always tried to like impart this wisdom on my dad, but he was very, very Catholic. So it never really landed with him. But when he died, I have a Bible. And so like I pick it up and I was like, I'm going to read the book of John because that's my dad's name. And on the first page, the very first page, the definition of the holy name John is I am.
Ooh.
It's literally I am.
Love that.
And that for me was confirmation. Like I was
Right.
like, God.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Honestly, though, we always have this open communication with the non-physical world, and our naked eyes can only see this, but there's just so much out there, and like us as like healers and empaths, like we feel those things, you know, but we can't like necessarily prove them, right?
Yeah.
But my medium teacher told me that we actually miss like about, I mean, it depends on the person, but like 50% of the signs that we're given. So like just imagine how much they're communicating with you, and like they're always talking to you, but we're only receiving like 50%. I mean, I think we both receive a lot and very, very like accurate signs from the other side, but I also think it's fun. I think people like, you know, sometimes I used to think that people who used to talk about like signs and things like that were like a little bit delusional and naive, to be honest. And my advice is like, don't believe it until you try it, you know, like experience it for yourself. You don't have to believe what we say. Like have your own experiment and then test it out and see what you receive, and then you can believe then.
we were very lucky to have two coins, like two sides of the coin with religion. Like growing up, you were given Buddhism and Christianity. So therefore it wasn't bad if you left, not leave Christianity, but explored other areas. And so for people who are like super committed to their religion, I love that. I think you should do whatever it is that makes you feel closest and most connected to God. That's amazing. I'm not here to tell you that any way is wrong, because like you said, I think all religions are saying the same thing. We're just speaking different languages. But giving yourself the permission to just be curious about life opens you up. Because life is ready to be like, hey, here's how powerful you are.
And you're an energetic being, so every thought you have, every action you take, every feeling that you have sends out some frequency out there. You know, and energy is not destroyed. So after you die, after you leave your physical body, it goes somewhere and they're with you, but you can't see it with your physical eyes, your naked eyes.
Oh, yeah. What advice would you give to someone who thinks they might be a healer, or people in the healing space?
I honestly think practice makes perfect. So try Reiki on yourself. Try giving complimentary free sessions to friends and family and your coworkers, because that just takes off the pressure a little bit. And, you know, I read this thing. It's like, you don't have to be the best healer to be a healer. You don't have to be the best actor to be to be an actor. You don't have to be the best writer to be a writer. Like, just start somewhere, and with practice, effort, and your time and your dedication, like, progress will be made. And you don't have to know what the whole staircase will look like. Just focus on the step in front of you, and I promise you, if it's aligned, if it's for you, you will receive the blessings and opportunities that are meant for you. And if you told me 5 years ago that I would have this Reiki practice and would be teaching all over the world, you know, got a book deal, I would not have believed you, you know. And I always wanted to be a writer, I think, growing up, but I never knew it would be about Reiki. And this literally just fell on my lap, you know. So you just never know what can happen. Just also lead with your curiosity. Like, allow yourself to be led, but also follow that inner calling, that innate, like, interest that you have, right?
Yes, the things that you're interested in or
naturally.
that excite you, that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, something that you do on your free time, see if you can offer that, if you can educate yourself on that, you know, and get training and offer that to other people as well.
Yeah.
You know?
And don't glue yourself to like one thing. Pay attention to the many things.
Right. Be curious and be like, why am I interested in this? And what do you do on your free time? Like,
Right.
I was reading books on psychology and spirituality on my free time when I was at my corporate job. So I was thinking like, okay, if I'm doing this on my free time and if I get paid for this, or if I'm able to be of service doing this work, like how much success, how much freedom could I have doing this?
Yes. If you are somebody who's listening to this and you're like, okay, I think I have psychic abilities. I do communicate with dead people. You like, you're super into manifestation and energetics and healing, and you're an empath and you want to help people. I think maybe you should explore Reiki. So can you tell us about how people can do that through your program?
Yeah, so I teach virtually for now. So I teach level 1 and 2, which gets you certified, and you know, you learn the foundations of Reiki, and you learn how to self-heal and do Reiki in other people. And I also teach the Reiki Master Course, which is a training for Reiki practitioners who want to certify and teach other people as well. And I will say, you can doubt it until you believe it. Like, you don't have to believe it, you know, have your own experience, you know, who am I to tell you that Reiki, and there's so many healing modalities out there, and, you know, take what resonates. And, you know, there's yoga, meditation, Reiki, acupuncture, like there's going to be different modalities from different stages in your life, but just know that all these tools are out there for you.
Yeah. Essentially, Reiki is a therapy. It's like a therapy where the modality, meaning the way that it's delivered, is through, it's like energy through
I'm a
hands,
channeler.
through physical touch.
Yeah. Well, I can also do it over the phone. It can be over distant.
Right. Which totally works. I've done that, by the way,
I mean,
too.
yeah, it's energy doesn't know time and space. And yeah, just stay curious and stay open.
I love it. And stay in vibe.
That was a good end.
Yes. Yeah. So for our listeners, Hae is going to give us a little discount code. If you're interested in doing her course, use the code PowerFem.
Yes.
I'll put the links to her website to sign up for that in the show notes. Of course, as always, code PowerFem. And then if you're interested in doing distant Reiki with Hae, or even like in person in LA, definitely check her out. She's amazing. I love getting Reiki from Hae. Same code, PowerFem. And I guess there will be a link for that as well for the show notes.
Just go on my website, stayinvibe.org.
Amazing. Hey, I have one final question for you. And that is, if you were in an elevator and you were going somewhere, right? And it's like, it's you today. You who is all-encompassing, all-knowing, believing, trusting. And just like a little girl comes on to the elevator.
Yeah.
What would you say to that young girl? What wisdom would you want to impart on her, and how would you want her to feel like after having met you?
So like talking to my past self.
It could be it could be your past self, yeah.
I would tell her to not worry, and everything will work out. Like, I think we worry so much, and in hindsight, if we just look back at everything has worked out, you know? And also, everything can be a blessing if you look at it that way. You know, rejection can be the redirection. It's really how you shape your perception and your reality.
Wow, that is so good. And it is true. When I do look back, everything has worked out.
Yeah, totally. And everything that was a rock bottom, that everything that was a struggle, like in hindsight, I'm like, okay, that had to happen for me to get to X, Y, and Z.
You guys, Hae is amazing. I can't recommend checking out her book enough. If you're interested, if you love to read, if you are interested in Reiki, check out her book. Please.
Reiki Illustrated.
Reiki Illustrated. It's on Amazon. It's at Barnes & Noble. Oh my God, it's so cool. My friends are so cool. I'm so proud of you. Also Apple Books. And yeah, just check her out. And you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for joining us on this amazing podcast episode. Best one yet. High five.
Thank you.
I
for
love
having
you.
me.
Yes, of course.
Love
Thanks
you.
for coming. I love you too.